Tim Ryan back here at the National Tennis Center, and we await the match on the stadium court between John McEnroe, unseeded, hard to believe, against number 7 seed Emilio Sanches, round of 16 men's action. And on the grandstand court, Gabriela Sabatini is up a set over Helena Sukova, and it is 1-4 in the second set there. So the number 5 seeded Gabriela Sabatini seems in control. And now let's go to our stadium court announcers, Pat and Tony.
And Mary Carrillo has joined Tony Trabert and me for this match, Sanches and McEnroe. Mary, your thoughts about what might happen?
Oh, I think McEnroe, you know, this court suits McEnroe's game surely. He's got to serve well, which has been very up and down this whole week for him. His serve establishes his attacking game, and if that's not there for him, he'll get into trouble. Sanches has got a very good topspin forehand, clever chip backhand, and he's a very good fighter. McEnroe's really going to have to put it all together and sustain a good service game, a good attacking game all around to win.
And Tony, your thoughts about this?
Well, I talked to Sanches this morning, was out here practicing, and I said, how do you like these cement courts, because you're basically a clay courter? He said, I like it here because I have good footing. And he said, really, the speed of the court helps my serve, makes me serve a little bit better. And I said, you're going to come in much? And he said, well, you almost have to come in here. This kind of a court brings you in. So I think we're going to have a good match. If John plays well, he should win. If he doesn't play real well, he could be in big trouble.
Well, I think stamina is going to be a factor as well.
Well,
a lot of people think that it has to be a straight setter.
Well, you have to give the stamina factor to Emilio Sanches. He is extremely fit. He's a very good fighter, and as Tony says, he knows how to volley. He's a very good doubles player. In fact, he and Sergio Casal won the U.S. Open doubles here a couple of years ago.
His road?
And that was a tough one. He played against Fabrice Santoro, the young Frenchman, with the 2 hands off both sides. That one went to 5 sets, so that was a good effort from Sanches. McEnroe's road has been much, much simpler. In fact, 3 rounds have gone by, and this guy hasn't dropped a set yet.
I thought that he would have some real trouble with Chesnikov. I wasn't so sure John would be able to beat him. And as a matter of fact, he played the best match that he's played in perhaps 2 or 3 years. And looking real good. We'll just see if he can sustain it.
I think it's longer than 2 or 3 years. Better than I've seen him play in 7 or 8 years, maybe.
2 minutes.
McEnroe Sanches coming up in 2 minutes. From above. And again, the crowd still trickling into the stadium.
Time.
Before
Please
too
take
much
your
longer,
seats
it'll be
quickly.
full.
You know, with all the people here, and there are so many good matches going on even on the outside courts, that they fan out all over the place. That's what makes the first week or so of any of these Grand Slam tournaments so much fun. It's not just the stadium. Oftentimes you don't get the best matches in the stadium. You get the name players, but sometimes the matches are one-sided. You get out on this outside courts, you see some real dogfights.
And you can see the grandstand right behind the stadium. Shadows already creeping across there. Men's singles, Yvonne Lindell has advanced.
Now it's a question, is it Muster or Sampras, Sanches and McEnroe, or Wheaton and Curran? And that's coming up later today. And those are 2 big servers. If you want to see some smoke coming off the serve, you want to watch Wheaton and Curran. I think you all know about Curran, but David Wheaton can really hammer the serve.
Curran, the oldest player in the entire tournament. In fact, he's the one that said a couple of years ago they should blow up New York.
That was after he had a first-round loss.
And the airplanes were still a factor at that time.
Yeah, and then the next day he came back and he was wearing a shirt. He got so much flack. He was wearing a T-shirt that says, I love New York. You realize he'd made a mistake.
Set, John McEnroe to serve.
There was a time a few years ago, Mary, when I would bet you $1 that McEnroe would take this first serve of the match and hit it hard out to the forehand corner. It was just a pattern the way he started. I don't know if he's going to do that today, but that's the way he used to always start his matches.
Well, he started effectively.
15 love.
He's got his kabuki makeup on again today. He didn't need it in his night match against Chesnikov, that 3rd rounder he won, but all throughout the Australian Open this year, he had that on underneath the hot Australian winter sun. Very fair, burns easily.
Sabatini has won on the grandstand, 6-2 and 6-1.
Pretty impressive.
Didn't think it'd be that easy.
She was very, very focused and stayed aggressive throughout that entire match.
Emilio Sanches, seeded number 7.
John beat Emilio's brother Javier Sanches in the first round 7-6, 7-6, 6-4. So he's trying to do in the male side of the Sanches family if he can win this one. That's basically what you will probably see from Sanches. He cannot overpower McEnroe by any means. He knows that. He said, I'm not that powerful. But he has to be accurate, consistent, and run extremely well. Try to get McEnroe out of position and then get the ball through the opening.
We saw that chip backhand return of Sanches as he'll do that over and over again and try to trap McEnroe mid-court with the first volley.
Even that was a terrific return off a very difficult serve.
40-15.
McEnroe made an excellent volley from a very low position.
Sanches can get very grooved on his returns. That's why it's so important for McEnroe to stay unpredictable. Move that ball, that service ball, all around the court.
Strong serving game for McEnroe. He wins the first game, first set. We'll be back at the U.S. Open after this word from your local station. Pat Summerall with Tony Trabert and Mary Carrillo. The stadium at the USTA's National
Please
Tennis
take the
Center.
closest seat.
U.S. Open of 1990.
No airplanes either. So
No.
nice.
Almost feels strange. Sanchez serving. John McEnroe in the far court.
Oh! 15 left.
Sanches played last week at WCT at Forest Hills. That's the only preparation he had on this surface getting ready for the U.S. Open. He plays indoors, and he played some other hard court tennis. So he's not unfamiliar with this style of play, though we do think of him more as a clay court player.
He likes it, in fact. Feels very comfortable.
He was brought up, Sanches, like John McEnroe. He started on clay. That's where he learned his game. I think the reason Sanches can play so well on a hard court is that he doesn't have clay court grips. And he's got very, he doesn't have those extreme grips. That would limit him.
That's a good point. Plus, he takes the ball early, and you have to do that to be a good doubles player. So on this kind of a surface, you have good footing and a true bounce. Two things you just have to have. See the good normal service grip there.
Game to Sanchez. 1-all first.
So 3 errors in that game by McEnroe. That'll be something to watch because Sanches. I think, will certainly be keeping the ball in play a lot. So the onus will be on John, whether he's patient enough to set the points up or whether he rushes them and then makes a lot of mistakes.
I think he will try rushing them, John. I think he's going to try to break open the points, whether serving or returning, real early. Force the issue.
15.
McEnroe can almost always expect a chip return on the backhand side and avoid the big Sanches for him. But again, he can't keep going there. He's got to keep it moving. There are two such contradictory serves that would work for him. The flat one to Sanchez's backhand, as he just did, or the other one.
What are we playing? 15.
The button's down. All that time Sanches had to just sit back and wait, try to keep his concentration. Amazing how many times we've seen McEnroe have a discussion, argument, whatever you want to call it, and then turn right around and make a heck of a play. There's been a pattern, no question about that.
You can tell how intense McEnroe is already in this match and how he knows that his serve is the key to this win.
You might have heard Cyclops in that one, too. We had a meeting with some of the officials to get clarification on some rules, etc. And this was one of the discussions. They said they think Cyclops works better on this kind of a court than any other court, grass or whatever else. Unless it's knocked offline, it is very reliable. Sometimes they don't use it at night because the moths land in that area and it sets it off.
Game.
So it's 2-1 McEnroe in the first set.
McEnroe leads 2-1.
Let's quickly go down to Leslie Visser.
Please take the closest seat.
Pat, I'm with the chief of the Grand Slam supervisors, Ken Farrar. Ken, what was the dispute and what did you tell John?
Well, the problem was the ball was a fault, but the machine did not go off. Now, either it wasn't activated by the lines umpire or the ball was past the range of the machine, but the linesman might have taken his finger off the machine to activate it too quickly. Everybody agreed it was a fault. John's point was, if we're playing the machine, shouldn't it be considered a good ball?
Does John have a point?
Well, he has a point, but everybody knew it was a fault. It's a fault. We got to play it that way.
Okay, thank you, Ken. Back to you, Pat.
Thank you.
Ken Farrar, as I mentioned earlier, boy, has he been busy this week. He defaulted Ken Flack out of the men's doubles after he walked off the court in his mixed doubles during a loss. He had to decide whether Goran Ivanisevic, after admittedly tanking in his match yesterday, deserved a fine, which he, upon review, did not give him. And, of course, the Andre Agassi incident.
And there have been fines.
Oh, there have been.
Against McEnroe against Agassi, against Gomez.
Gomez was fined for having too big of commercial patches on his clothes, and he wouldn't take it off, change it.
15.
McEnroe was fined $500 for breaking a sign at the end of the court, the USTA National Championship plastic sign. He's within $500 of reaching the maximum $7,500 fine, after which he would not be allowed to play in the next Grand Slam, which would be the Australian Open.
I don't think he would be too unhappy about that after what happened last year.
That's right, he was defaulted out of the Australian Open last year, but he admitted that was his own fault. He didn't know the rules.
First serve.
It's amazing, Tony. You bring up a good point. It's amazing how many people don't know the rules, not just in tennis, but in golf.
Right.
And in all sports.
Craig Stadler built up his stance with that towel under his knee. Cost him about 30 grand.
Football as well.
One of the things that I think John did so well in his match against Chesnikov was he was a little more penetrating with the volley. He, up to this point, has been very tentative in the volley. Not that he's afraid to miss it, but when he has a bit of an opening, he doesn't do enough with it to force it through. And he's volleying with a little more aggression here. He knows Sanches can run. He knows he has good ground strokes. That means good passing shots.
McEnroe's really going after his volleys again, and he said after that Cheslakov match, he said, today was certainly the best that I volleyed for a long time. I felt like I didn't let the ball play me. I played the ball. He did the same thing again.
Here's another look now. He gets this ball down. Sanches volleys up. See how he got that ball way out in front? That's an expert volleyer. Get that ball and make contact as far in front of your body as you can. Firm wrist, not a very big motion. And he went in behind Sanches, who's got a break point. See, that's the thing with a guy like Sanches. He can't end a point necessarily with one shot. He's got to take 2, 3, 4, 5 to do it. He has to set it up well. He set that one up with a good serve. Boy, what a nice family, the Sanches family. It's deuce.
McEnroe positioned to chip and charge.
Good. John was wishing that one out. That was definitely a good shot.
Pato Rodriguez in the cap, and Emilio's brother Javier next to him, and behind him, that's Manuel Orantes, who in 1975 won the U.S. Open. Of course, it was played on clay then, back at Forest Hills. He was on clay for a couple of years.
We'll never forget that one.
Boy.
On this.
I'll tell you in a minute. Right now, just a reminder that we're live at the USTA National Tennis Center. The stadium court, very nearly full now. 2-2.
On the Saturday night, the night before the final, Orantes played Vilas. Vilas hit him 2 sets to love. Had him either 5-love or 5-1 and 40-love. 5-1, 40-love, triple match point. Orantes got out, saved 2 more match points, ended up winning it in 5 sets. Got home at 2:33 in the morning, got to sleep at 4:30 or 5. Came out the next day, and guess what? Beat Jimmy Connors to win it.
The only guy who thought he had a chance was Connor. Connor said, he told me before, he's still on a roll. Meantime, we had left and didn't know who won. Came back the next day to do the finals. We thought Connors was in the finals against Vilas.
That's the man right there.
Vilas, after dropping that tremendous lead in the semis to this man, who was in the locker room for an hour afterwards, sitting there with a towel on him saying, I'm lower than dirt. I am lower than dirt. Couldn't believe it.
Oh, McEnroe.
Love.
30 love. Johan Lindell in straight sets earlier here in the stadium.
Wow, that's an upset. Connell and Michibata have played great doubles this year. In fact, they're about 3 or 4 in the world right now in dubs.
Action out of 4-16.
Nesky up 6-5 over the young Italian gal that put Celis out of the tournament.
Love.
Love.
Tatum O'Neal sitting next to Tony Palafox, who's McEnroe's coach again. He's the guy whose style McEnroe copied when he was just a young boy. Very compact swings, a lot of touch. Like that.
Sorry, Pat, go ahead.
Just going to say he's always had extremely quick hands.
I was going to say the trouble is he makes it look so easy that people don't realize how tough it is, some of the things he does.
McEnroe leads 3 games to 2 in the first set.
McEnroe leads 3 games to 2. Please move to your
look at the stadium
players are ready.
from above in the Fuji blimp, piloted today by Captain Gary Fabian. Co-pilot is Greg Plants. And that blimp is as long as a football field, high as a 5-story building, and this surprised me. It can fly as fast as 65 miles an hour.
Amazing.
But usually
Please.
soars
Thank
at
you.
about 35 or 40 miles an hour.
Well, you wouldn't think that thing could go that fast, would you?
As long as a football field.
What was the pilot's
What's the
name
speed limit
yesterday?
up there anyway for Plymouth?
65.
Well, there you go.
Yes.
Thank you.
They wouldn't break the rules. You know that.
Sanches serving. 2-3.
He has a toss, Sanches, on his serve that I'd call a clay court toss. He really doesn't set the ball very far into the court because on clay, he's not going to serve and volley very often at all. And if you watch him here, first or second, the ball doesn't really go very far into the court.
Again, Sanches is not a good passer, especially off the backhand side. He's not as tough a passing shot artist as Chesnikov in the last round, but what he does better is serve and volley.
He's not going to pass anyone up high off that backhand side. Not many people can. And he let that one get up, and McEnroe hit the floater to him. It'll topspin semi-lob. You got to take that a little earlier, or go all the way in and catch it in the air if you can.
You can understand why that kick serve of Sanches is so effective in doubles. It gets him into the net nice and tight.
Sure. 100 points in a game.
Will Chamberlain.
Tennis groupie.
And he is big.
He said, you guys closed up your office too early last night. I had to have my bag locked in here. He gets here early and is the last one to leave.
All.
Sabatini advances over Sukova. 2-1, 6-2, 6-1. Earlier, that was the first match completed. Marie-Jo Fernandez. Tie break now on 16.
You got a couple of guys that can cover court. Have another look. Sanches in the backhand corner. Now is outside the doubles alley, almost out of the stadium, and does his best to get back to that cross-court shot. ISO on the Spaniard. He's got a good set of wheels.
And a good fighting heart.
You bet. And those are two things you need if you're going to beat a lot of people on clay courts for sure, because points last long, matches are long.
Break point.
McEnroe leads 4 games.
Watch how close McEnroe takes this return. He's way inside the baseline. Sanches was sliding to his left, expecting to come back cross court. And though he saved a break point in his previous service game, that time he was not able to do so. So McEnroe leads 4-2.
McEnroe's got to keep up his numbers on serve. He served 3 times already. He's only lost 2 points, and they were both when he had to put in a second serve. Here comes another one. See, this is where he could get into trouble if that service percentage starts dipping for him, because he doesn't always come in behind his second serve, and then the points get complicated.
That's great stuff there. Half volley winner.
Not many people can do that.
15 left.
Here's another look. Right off his shoe tops. Notice the head didn't move much. He didn't bend, really get real low, but his head was very quiet, so you can focus on the ball. We recommend you try to bend those knees and get your head down near the flight of that ball on those low ones and stay down throughout the stroke.
15 love.
That's not a bad percentage when you get your first serve in, huh? Win them all.
That volley of his has not looked that good in so many years. Tony Palafox, when he started working with John again, he said he couldn't believe how much McEnroe's volley had degenerated. But look how nice it looks now. A very short, compact swing. His volley had gotten so swingy because he was out of position. He was muscling that volley around. Now he's not, which means he's moving better.
Well, he's sort of caressing the racket through the ball on a lot of those volleys, not stinging it with a short, chopping type motion. The good volleyers basically stop once they make contact with the ball.
40 love.
Let's see how McEnroe gets inside the service line here. A toss well inside the baseline. See where he is? What a difference in the way he tossed that ball into the court, and Sanches, who tossed it almost straight up.
Game
to McEnroe. He leads 5-2 in the first.
McEnroe.
At the stadium, the U.S. Open of 1990, USTA's National Tennis Center, John McEnroe has won 12 of the last 14 points.
He's stopping all the time the match, so what they can do?
Against Emilio Sanches.
John's wife Tatum also.
Quiet, please.
McEnroe is serving well, and he's come in behind every serve but one.
Players are ready.
Of course, that's
Quiet,
what
please.
he should be doing if he serves well, and he's always gone as his serve goes. When he serves well, everything else works better, and that's the case with most people that rely heavily on the serve.
Thank you.
Well, he's serving so well and volleying well.
Right.
15 love.
Second ace for Sanches. Shea Stadium close by, just across the parking lot and the tracks. San Francisco over the Mets. San Diego beating Philadelphia.
I like the way he's looking on his returns. He's always looking to attack. You know, he's really playing the first strike ball. Whether he's serving or whether he's returning, he tries to dictate the point right from the start.
See, he realized he'd hurt him, so he came right in. That's not the ideal volleying position, but now he's where he wants to be.
(30-15).
He's got the people behind him, literally and figuratively. When he won his match over Chesikov the other night, he said, "I must be getting old. They're all clapping for me, and it's the round of 32.
That's right.
(40-15).
You know, you bring up something, Tony. You said he knew we had him hurt. Another sign of a champion. When you realize you've hurt him, you can close it.
Go finish him. That's right.
Game Sanchez.
Game to Sanches, however. And it's 5-3 in the first. McEnroe.
That was a fine service game from Emilio. He really moved the ball around, got him in, got some heat behind him.
And that's the same thing.
Got him in, got some heat behind him.
That's the same thing. He has to serve that way because he can't knock you down. He did serve one ace, but basically he has to place it well and keep you guessing, keep you off stride.
Love 15.
Second double for McEnroe.
This is the first real test on the serve because this seems more important now, trying to run out the first set. The other ones are just getting into it and everything's going fine. Now let's see if he can keep it up. This would be good for him if he has a good service game.
see, made that volley well inside the service line. That's a real key for him.
15 all.
Let's watch how he gets inside. First, the toss is well into the court. That gets his back leg started. Now watch him. See, he's inside that service line to make that first volley. The ball was up a little bit, which helped him. 15 all.
(30-15).
He's lost only 3 points on his serve.
I've always loved that expression, and it's a usable expression, back leg.
Yep.
As you just said.
Yep.
Sounds kind of funny out of context.
That's right. Well, when you're in that position, he's got a front leg and a back leg.
First serve.
Another interesting thing, an important thing, is when you're winning your serve that handily, you can take chances on the other guy's serve on the return because you're just cruising along. You figure you can hold yours. Well, sort of a miss-hit return by Sanches. We got up into an awkward spot for John. He'd like to have that one back because it was makeable. I'm not so sure you could put it away, but certainly could have stayed in the point.
Third ace, right on the center line.
40-30.
Grandstand.
David Wheaton and Kevin Curran are fighting to get to advance. The winner of that match plays the winner of this one right here.
Curran is up 2-1.
Missed it. Called a fault. Here's a quick look at that serve. Boy, it was close. This is the live action second serve. Mary, who the heck ever invented the net? You realize what a problem that creates for tennis players? That return ticks the top of the tape and bounces over, so it just throws McEnroe off completely.
What about Derek Restano? Whoever had a more unlucky net court experience? Match point against Boris Becker. Becker rips a shot, plays off that net.
Sitting on it, too. Restano is right there. Just blocked the forehand volley down the line. He's a winner. Becker doesn't win the Open.
Remember the time that Roscoe Tanner knocked it down?
Amazing.
That
advantage.
There's the same culprit.
Second double in this game for McEnroe.
He started out with a double. Isn't it interesting how he was cruising along so easily, and when it's important, it just becomes tougher. Now break point for Sanches. Oh, what a serve. Look where Sanches finished.
Almost in the seats.
There's a way to take this away from a left-hander. You got to stand way over to your left. Good arch to the back. Watch this baby. Now watch where Sanches is. See, he doesn't cut it off. He's going parallel to the baseline. He has to start farther to the left and cut up. Go up to his left, meet the ball before it breaks so wide. But a great serve by McEnroe under pressure.
Wasn't that bad a serve.
McEnroe's looking, trying to say his serve was out. This is a darn good serve, and watch topspin return. And even though McEnroe was inside the service line, he was expecting the ball to come down the other side. That is a beautiful return by the Spaniard. Gets him again to break point. See, Sanches is not near that left single sideline. He moves that way. He's got it.
Oh, what a shot.
Break by Sanches.
And that makes it 5-4. McEnroe in the first.
McEnroe lead.
And that's what he thinks about the tennis ball as we come back live with Sanches back on serve at 4-5 in the first set. McEnroe had been cruising on his serve.
He did cruise, but in that last service game of his. So you have a look at Team McEnroe there. I see a couple of Douglason faces in that crowd. His last service game, every serve that he did get into the court, because he had a couple of double faults, it went to the Sanches back, and he just started sitting there waiting for it. Again, Sanches could get very grooved.
Boy, what terrific tennis you saw there. It looked as though Sanches had him beaten with the forehand passing shot right there.
Love 30.
Now he tries to go in behind him. Did nothing with it, and then he still almost got back into the point.
Love 30.
Boy, that's good stuff there. What hands by McEnroe. No.
15-30.
You know, it just seems funny. I look down at my score sheet and it says Emilio Sanches seeded 7, and I've got no number after McEnroe.
Yeah.
Unseeded. The first time, what, 12 years? I think?
13.
13 years.
Since 1977. He's been seeded more than any other player. And that's 5 times he was seeded 1. 4 times, of course, he won it. He won 3 Wimbledons, too.
$15-40.
2 set points now for McEnroe. All that war paint's been wiped off of John's face.
Yeah. Overcast. That's a break.
Didn't come over.
30-40. Quiet minutes.
He loves that forehand. It's his favorite shot. And he did a good job, Emilio Sanches, of running around the backhand side, taking it as a forehand, went a big inside-out pass. That's a very good effort. Look how far off the court he was.
And if you recall earlier this game, he just ripped that one down the line from that same kind of position. So to be able to go either way with it makes you doubly effective.
It's deuce.
2 set points saved by Sanches. The only play Sanches had was to pop it up over McEnroe's head. He also has to worry about not running into the net as he chases this volley.
Sanches.
Look at him. He has to be sure he doesn't touch the net. This part's easy.
Easy for you.
The easiest one of the day for him too. Tremendous stuff.
Boy, that's impressive.
Did you hear those feet squeaking? That good footwork by Sanches.
It sounds like he's playing
5
basketball.
games
That's how, I mean, this guy can scoot.
He's going to need a retread. Live at the stadium court. The U.S. Open of 1990. Live at the stadium court. The U.S. Open of 1990.
5-all first set.
Fourth round action. It's got to get better and better if possible.
15 left.
I don't think Sanches thought that serve was good.
McEnroe has got to make a point. He did that flat one to the forehand, which is a good pattern for him because it gives him an easy first volley into the cross court. He's got to move it around. He's got to keep throwing change up on this guy. Another one to the forehand.
Have another look at the draw. Lindell won earlier today, rather easily. He'll play either Thomas Muster, Sampras, Sanches and McEnroe in action now. Wheaton and Curran over in the grandstand.
And another one.
Fourth ace for John.
40 left.
That's in the grandstand. The winner of this match will play the winner of that match.
McEnroe leads 6-5 first set.
We'll be back at the U.S. Open after this word from your local station.
McEnroe leads 6 games to 5.
We're live at the stadium. John McEnroe leading 6-5 against Emilio Sanches. First set of this fourth round match.
And again, it's nice not to have those airplanes going over.
Boy.
Helps everybody, mostly the players.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
"53 minutes of tennis to this point. Playing a Davis Cup final when you're against Great Britain, and John did that against Buster Mottram. He went under the ball and came in and got past. And next court change we talked about, I said, you know, I like the idea, but if you're going to do it, why don't you go over the top of it, get a little more on it, and you can trap the guy, because he took nice big swings at the ball, and he did it the rest of the match beautifully and very successfully.
That was his first Davis Cup, 1978. First final, and helped win it. He killed John Lloyd in that one, and afterwards John Lloyd said, playing against John, he said, I have never been so embarrassed and humiliated. He said, I couldn't believe how good he was.
Well, he had done a little talking beforehand, saying McEnroe, find out how tough it is to play in a final of a Davis Cup for your country and trying to put pressure on the psychology, and it didn't work.
Freezing conditions out in the Palm Desert, too.
It was cold.
$40.
1 point away from a tiebreak.
The Sanches forehand really has been very, very effective. He moves it around well. Remember, he made that crucial passing shot to get the service break back, get him to 4-5 in the first set.
Gang Sanches.
So here we go.
And Sanchez's forehand, because he's got a lot of power and topspin, it's a lot harder to volley Sanchez's forehand. I think McEnroe would do well to go more to the backhand, especially when he's trying to get into the net, because it's rare that Sanchez gets off a really good-looking topspin backhand.
Tie break.
Quiet, please.
First player to reach 7 points with at least a 2-point advantage will be the winner of this first set.
One, 0, McEnroe.
Here's a real slow-mo of that last point. Sanches had a chance to hold his shot, but he didn't. He took that looping swing. He was committed. McEnroe read it correctly. Still had to do an awfully good job. Quick reflexes to make that volley. So he's won the first point of the tiebreak. You get in close like that. If you can hold your racket still until your opponent moves, you can usually just push it the other way and get it by him.
Sanchez now will serve 2 points.
This is one that McEnroe hits instead of pushing. He takes it back and he hits that one. Now Sanchez has less time, and even though John's approach was a little short, Sanchez had less time to get to it. So he swings at that one. Now he's in for the kill.
Two one McEnroe.
This has been an awfully well-played first set, I think, by both players.
Boy, yeah.
Not a lot of unforced errors. Remember, John made like 3 of them in the second game of the match on Sanchez's serve, but after that, neither one had made many at all. Good, solid tennis. Again, keep in mind, to get the service break earned this set, Sanchez on the run went down the line. This time he goes the other way with it. Let's see where McEnroe sets up. He stays to the left, covering the down the line, and can't get over to cover the cross court. So the ability to go both ways off the same shot by Sanchez has been a big help for him.
2-2.
And it looks the same, Mary, doesn't it? As he approached the ball, the stroke production looks the same, so you have to just guess.
He's got great racket speed. So does his brother, for that matter.
We'll take another look. See if you can tell if this is good or not. I think it was good. Caught half the line, it appeared. It certainly was close. So Sanchez has won 3 points in a row and leads 3-2 in this tiebreak. We discussed this situation in our meeting too, didn't we, Pat?
Yeah.
The umpire has to see it clearly out.
4-2.
4-2 is third ace.
It's also important for McEnroe to try to shut this guy down in straight sets.
Oh, man. Boy, that one might haunt Sanchez.
Look, Sanches framed this smash. He didn't get a good hold of it. McEnroe just had to play it off his shoe tops into the open court. A lot of luck there for McEnroe on that last point, but fortunately for him, he was in good enough position and reacted well. That's a break for him, and he knows it.
Tennis by both players.
4-all.
Great net coverage by McEnroe. And that last volley really had some sting. Watch the ISO on John, how well he moves, the short motion. Watch the reaction.
And he'll serve now at 4-all.
As I said, it's key for McEnroe to win this set. The longer a match goes with Emilio Sanches, the less chance you've got to win it. He likes him long. McEnroe, he's had three setters in a row here.
Please.
His fitness has to be suspect. He hasn't got a lot of matches in him this year.
So McEnroe won the first 2 points. Sanches wins the next 4. Now John's won 3 in a row.
Third ace for Sanches, and fourth.
Watch this good service motion. And the direction, the perfect, right on the center line. That one not done so much with just sheer speed. They got it clocked at 99 miles per hour.
It's 5-all.
First serve.
Someone's going to have a set point after this point.
Six, 5, Sanches.
Someone is Sanches.
There's someone else with the pressure on his shoulders. John McEnroe.
McEnroe himself had 2 set points.
Quiet, please.
Here's where the first serve is so crucial for John now. You'd expect him to swing it wide. You wouldn't necessarily expect a drop volley and you're down set point.
6-all.
Watch the soft touch here of McEnroe as he comes in. This return is not hit hard, but it's fairly low. You see how he lets that racket just drop off the ball, drop away from a little bit to kill the forward speed. Players change ends. McEnroe again, the same point.
Ili Nastase says it best about McEnroe. When people ask him why Mac is still his favorite guy to watch, he said, people don't understand the kind of tennis he can play, the way he plays. Nastase says, you better watch it, baby, because when he's gone, it's going to disappear. Nastase says of McEnroe, even now when he's playing well and hits the ball,
7-6,
he hits it with love still.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I do. I know just what he's saying. Boy, Nastase was an artist himself.
Well, it's set point now for McEnroe.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
come in behind this one?
I think because otherwise you think John will try to put a good kick on it. He's got him.
First set, McEnroe.
A spectacular first set. Another look, Tone.
Once he gets in and makes one good volley, he's in a driver's seat. This one was not a good volley, but he stayed right there. He outguessed Sanches, and that high forehand volley puts a stick. Now we'll see what John thinks of it.
And what does the family think of it?
Dad on the right.
Spectacular first set. Another look, Tone.
Once he gets in and makes one good volley, he's in a driver's seat. This one was not a good volley, but he stayed right there. He outguessed Sanches, and that high forehand volley puts a stick. Now we'll see what John thinks of it.
And what does the family think of it?
Dad on the right.
Players are ready.
So back at the stadium, what a first set we just witnessed. McEnroe on a tie break.
And it brought this stadium to its feet
To serve.
because they don't know when they might ever see John McEnroe again, when it'll be the last time. He has struggled. We all know that. He is playing better tennis he's played for quite a while. And to pull that tie break off was terrific for him. And the crowd showed their appreciation.
So he has captured the first set. Let's quickly go down again to Leslie Visser.
Pat, I'm down here with Coach Tony Palafox. Tony, it looked like a little of the old magic there with John McEnroe. What was he doing well?
Well, he's attacking very well. He's going into the net as much as he can, and that's whether he has to put the pressure on Emilio. That way he can use his touch.
Right next to him is his wife, Tatum. Tatum, John said earlier in the week that his chances of winning this tournament were ridiculous, but it doesn't look that way now.
What do you want me to say?
What do you think?
Well, I hope he wins. I hope he wins each match as they come. I don't think anybody thinks about, or maybe some of the players think about winning the tournament, but I think for John, he just wants to take each match at a time.
That's great. Thank you both. Pat?
All right. At 30-15. First game of the second set. McEnroe won the first set in a tie break. 30-15.
Game Sanches. First game, second set.
And now this tournament summary, sponsored by AT&T, the right choice.
Only 8 of the 16 men's seeds remain now. A lot of activity still going on. Mary Jo Fernandez advances to the quarterfinals for the first time in 6 U.S. Open appearances, and Lindell 9 straight, at least quarterfinal appearances. Still a lot going on. Pat Summerall with Mary Carrillo and Tony Traber.
Quiet, please.
4th round match between Sanches and McEnroe. And if the rest of it
Thank you.
is anything like the first set, you're in for a real treat.
Love 15.
The other scores of the day. Lindell advanced. Mary Jo Fernandez. Sabatini. Easier than expected. She's in the quarters. Wheaton and Curran in the grandstand right now to play the winner of this match.
Lemesky defeated the young Italian gal that put Celis out of the competition.
First set.
Right.
Regular.
No,
it was the
over.
final. Yeah.
It was the final.
Yeah. Boy, that part of the draw opens up.
The first volley of that point's what I mentioned earlier about John. He didn't do enough with that volley, because with a court open, he should be able to hit it hard enough where Sanches doesn't get another swing at it. And when you give good players a second chance, a lot of the time they get it past you, and it can be very crucial.
Pino.
This man won't go away.
15-30.
I have a feeling that Chesnikov he got a little disenchanted, disheartened after McEnroe beat him on a couple of sets. But that's not how Emilio Sanches is. McEnroe won't be able to kick him loose except with very good play.
John's taking his bandana off. It is overcast a little bit now, so a little breeze.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please, in the void ball section up here. $15-40.
Double fault number 4 for McEnroe. It puts him down 2 break points.
This is what happened to him the other night against Chesnikov in that 3rd round match. His serve went down below 40%, and he got himself in an 0-4 deficit, one he was able to climb out of. That's been the most frustrating part of McEnroe's comeback game, has been his serve. Comes and goes. That got overruled.
Yep.
All was good. Replay the point.
Seemed like a little early call, didn't it?
Still break point.
Sanches obviously doesn't agree with that one. Goes down as ace number 5.
McEnroe's got to keep that serve smooth, the motion smooth, and he's got to keep the ball toss up. Sometimes it drops on him.
Play, please. against Sanches.
Good heavy return pays off for Sanches.
Sanches leads 2-0.
We're live at the USTA's National Tennis Center. Fourth round match. As you look down at the stadium, which is now packed. Fourth round match between John McEnroe and Emilio Sanches. Match between John McEnroe and Emilio Sanches. The U.S. Open of 90. Sanches leads 2-0 in the second set. McEnroe in the first set.
15-11.
Right now, let's shift down to Tim Ryan in our studio.
Here we go. Thank you, Pat. I'm joined by the 1971 men's champion here at the U.S. Open, Stan Smith. And Stan, we've been watching with great interest, along with millions of others, John McEnroe. Maybe some folks forget that you played this young man. Your careers weren't as separated as we might have thought. You played him 3 times. What do you think's different now in McEnroe's game?
Well, there's not quite as much sting on that big first serve. And he's moving, you know, a little bit slower. He's not quite as aggressive with that first volley, and he's not returning quite as well. When I played him, he really was tough to read on his serve, and he's still fairly tough to read, but he's missing too many first serves.
This is nonetheless a remarkable comeback, if you will, the level of his play in this tournament from the last couple of years.
Well, it is. I mean, he's looking like the McEnroe of old in many cases here. He's got to really be careful to not let down here, because he won that first set in a very emotional first set, and I think he's a little flat right now. He's got to keep himself up, because if he gets to a 5-set match, it's going to be tough.
He's the director of coaching for the USTA. McEnroe's performance, joined by 5 other Americans still in the men's at this point.
Well, we've got some exciting young Americans, and we've got some young ones that are going to be around for a while when John, you know, decides to hang up his racket. But I'm really pleased by where it's going. Of course, Jennifer Capriotti's there, and she's really the cornerstone of our program, along with a lot of younger girls and boys below her.
Well, looking again at the McEnroe match, do you have the sense that the way things went in the first set, that he should win this based on what you've seen?
I think he can. You know, I think the crowd is worth at least a half a point a game to him. If they really get behind him, it gets close, especially in the later part of the match. That crowd can inspire him and give him a little bit of adrenaline when he needs it.
All right, well, he's now down love 3 here in the second set. We'll return to the stadium in a moment. Thanks, Dan.
Sure thing.
Soaring above is the Fuji blimp, piloted today by Gary Fabian from Dallas, Texas, who's been flying for 16 years. Co-pilot's Greg Plants, who, by
He
the
should
way,
come back down then.
It should. Co-pilot is Greg Plants, who is a competitive tennis player. 3-love Sanches.
McEnroe's only won 3 points in the last 3 games. Had a real letdown since that tiebreaker win.
Oh, boy. Terrific. Emilio can't believe that one.
15-love.
Watch the court coverage. See, he thinks he's all set. Not only does McEnroe get his racket on it, but he gets it back the other direction. Sanches puts his hands up. It's like, I don't believe that.
He didn't even make a move toward it.
This one right here. Look at him hustle. The ball was behind him, actually past him. Little flick of the wrist.
all.
Top spin lob catches John. He gets it back, but couldn't do much with it. Now this was a good shot going out the other way with the backhand from way off the court. See, come from way below the ball. Now you'd expect him to try to pull that shot down the line. Instead, he went back out the other way. Very, very good play.
15 all.
(15-30).
And USTA deserves a lot of credit for supporting it.
30 all.
A lot of other things going on around. The Giants over the Mets, nearby Shea 3-2 after the 5th. Pittsburgh over Houston 1-0. Second. Dodgers over Montreal 8-1. Cincinnati 1-0 over the Cubs. Toronto 1-0 over Cleveland. Major League Baseball on CBS has been a great addition.
40-30.
Mary Sanches is starting to return a little bit more with topspin on the backhand instead of blocking it.
Well, that lets you know a couple of things. Well, it lets you know that McEnroe's serve isn't as potent, and it also lets you know that Sanches is starting to read it well, and McEnroe's getting too predictable.
Game McEnroe.
Game McEnroe.
If this guy can start taking, full-blooded swings, top spin swings off the backhand side and forehand side, that means that McEnroe has lost some heat.
Right.
3-1. The NFL continues on CBS. Season premiere next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time, with the new NFL Today. Leslie Visser, Greg Gumbel, Terry Bradshaw, and Pat O'Brien. A fun bunch.
Green Bay is not going to be playing with their #1 quarterback, are they?
Still haven't assigned Mikowski. And the Rams got blown out by Washington. But they're supposed to be one of the better teams again this year.
Bit crippled up at the moment, aren't they?
Yes, they are. We had 18 players, I think, the other night, either on the injured reserve or didn't make the trip.
30 low.
But John Robinson will get it done. On the grandstand court, Wheaton won the first set. It's 2-2 in the second. And, of course, the winner of that one plays the winner of this one.
Outside the net post. The ball didn't have to go over. Look at him smiling. McEnroe hit such a backhand angle that Sanches is able to get to the ball and hit the ball down the line, perfectly legitimate, outside the net post. This ball travels not over the net and lands in the court, perfectly legal, and a winner for the Spaniard. He likes it. See where he is outside the doubles alley? He has now hit 22 winners and only had 3 unforced errors. Terrific effort.
And he's won the game. Sanchez leads in the second set.
Sanchez
4-1.
leads 4-1.
John McEnroe won the first set in a tiebreak, a thrilling tiebreak. Sanchez has come back and leads 4-1 in the second set.
Players are ready.
Sanchez has really started to dictate the play here. He's, as Tony said, he's had 23 winners now, 10 off that forehand alone, which again is something McEnroe should probably try to avoid. McEnroe himself has only had 19 winners, and most of them have come from the net. 16, in fact. None off the backhand side, 3 off the forehand.
15 low.
You know, Sanchez has won 11 singles titles in his career and 32 doubles titles. Pretty impressive. Then you look at McEnroe, 75 singles titles and 74 doubles titles. That is impressive.
10 of Sanchez's 11 wins have come on clay courts, although I saw him play a real good-looking hard court match this year. He beat Ivan Lendl, Key Biscayne, the Lipton event.
Grand Slam career titles. Roy Emerson, 28. Newcomb, Sedgman, Tilden.
And John McEnroe shouldn't think, John McEnroe, 2 Grand Slams he won, of course, in 62 and 69. McEnroe, I hope he doesn't think he's all washed up, because when Laver was 31 years old, as John is, he won his 2nd Grand Slam.
40 low.
40 low.
Laver was a little better practicer than McEnroe. I think that's a safe statement to say.
That's about right. I think that is fair.
And he always worked to stay in shape, and he liked to practice.
The Rocket.
McEnroe's idol.
Game McEnroe.
Number 6, 4-2 now. second set.
Sanches leads 4-2.
We grew up together, John and I, two lefties from Douglas, and we both loved Rod Laver. Sanches, by the way, has only lost 1 point on his serve this set, so that's bad news for Mac. But we used to watch Laver, and you know, John would always try to play lefty as much as he did because Rod was a good old lefty boy and knew how to use his leftiness. And I remember when John won the 12 and under Douglas and Club championships over Brendan Steins, I said to him, "You're going to be the greatest player ever. Yeah, you're going to be #1." He said, "Ah, you don't know what you're talking about. Shut up." Because he was thinking Laver at that time.
30 love.
Turned out you were right.
Well, it was my first ever prediction and my first ever criticism of McEnroe. He told me to shut up, so things haven't changed much.
Continued good serving here by Sanches. Again, not just knocking McEnroe down, but he's lunging, reaching, not getting a good piece of the ball. Tried to take the first point and come in behind it. Couldn't control it. Spaniard's a smart tennis player. And Mary, as you said, he's not going to go away.
No.
Emilio Sanches will stay with you, and that can be bad news for McEnroe if it gets to a real long match because of the physical fitness aspect. Just missed.
Just barely out.
40-15.
At that point, see, Sanches got 2 extra swings at the ball. McEnroe magic with the stop volley. This was not real deep, but he got away with this one. The heavy underspin, once that ball just stops. It doesn't go towards Sanches at all once it hits the court.
And doesn't bounce very much.
No, sir. That's it. What it says is you ain't going to get me. 40-30. Sanches trying to stretch his lead to 5-2 in the second set. McEnroe won the first in a tiebreak. McEnroe read that kick serve very well. This ball will jump to his left, but he's ready for it, and he just takes it right down the line.
This is the biggest point in this set for McEnroe. Because if he can break here, he's right back on serve. If not,
can be a long afternoon.
That's right. Sanches would go up 5-2, so this becomes the biggest point, set 2. Oh, and here's his chance. He's got a second serve, so he'll look to chip and attack.
Quiet, please.
That's the ball kids back there.
Well, and there was an usher that moved around behind McEnroe that Sanches could see. Good, powerful stuff. Again, McEnroe drove the backhand.
Advantage, McEnroe.
He didn't chip that backhand approach. He goes after it. He drives it. Not deep, but he has something on it, so Sanches doesn't have as much time to make up his mind where to hit it. Break point, McEnroe.
Deuce.
people on this sideline got very excited about that because they couldn't tell it was well wide. They were just trying to get it over the net. It's about the fourth unforced error, I think, that Sanches has made on that very reliable forehand side.
With all that that racket speed he generates, you can see how he could miss hit a couple. So whippy.
Tough second serve here now for Sanches. Down break point.
McEnroe gets the break. And it's 4-3. Sanches in the second. For more of the U.S. Open of 1990.
And that's only the first week of the U.S. Open.
Well, today has been terrific.
Player's been out there an hour and 40 minutes.
McEnroe serving 3-4 in the second set. He won the first set in a tiebreak.
He was nice and calm on the backhand passing shot that got on the service break. McEnroe, he really stayed quiet, played it well. That's the time when sometimes you try to rush things. Good ground stroke by Sanches. Return had some pace on it, sort of handcuffed McEnroe, and then he made two more good shots before he could win the point.
Another great return.
Love 30.
Right at McEnroe's feet.
And again with some pace, Pat, and that means that you have less time to adjust, decide what you want to do with the ball. It's more of just a reaction. In a case like that, McEnroe must recognize that his first volley has made Sanches late for the second shot because he stays right on that down the line. The cross court is definitely open, but apparently feels that he's hit the volley well enough that Sanches can't get around in front of the ball to get it cross court.
Good match in the grandstand. Wheaton won the first set. It's 4-all in the second.
Good shot selection by Sanches. Just didn't quite make it. John was closing in. You don't see a lot of fat tennis players out there, do you?
Not in this tournament.
Another terrific return by Sanches. Topspin backhand gets him to break point. If he can break here, he'll be serving for the second set. Service break chances. Each is broken twice. That's the difference. That shot by Sanches was hit firmly, but it was up. You'll see where McEnroe, this ball is above the top of the net. See, it's up above between the waist and shoulders. That makes an easy volley for McEnroe. Watch again.
The previous ones were down at his feet. That's why sheer speed isn't always the answer. Getting the ball down is what's really important.
Oh. How long can he keep it up? Long time, I guess.
Well, that's his style of play. Watch him again get over the top of the ball and follow it down the line.
He really starts getting groove. Boy, I've seen him in doubles make return after return after return.
Break point for Sanches. This is tough on McEnroe because Sanches returning serve very well. He's going to have to try to hit a good second serve, and sometimes you toss a double in there and you try to do too much with it.
Exactly what he did.
Fifth double fault.
That didn't look like a second serve even.
You got to give Sanches a lot of credit for that because he's returning so well that as a server, you say, I've got to do something very, very well. That's not choking. A lot of people say, oh, he got nervous, he choked. That's a lot of baloney. He's just trying to do something very good with it. 86 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So Sanches now serving for the second set. Mary, we're talking about stamina of these two players. It is overcast. It's a little cooler than it was earlier. That helps John McEnroe as much as possible, don't you think?
Oh, definitely.
First.
Talking a minute ago about what's going to happen tomorrow. This, of course, is Boris Becker on court 25.
The defending champion used to get, McEnroe used to punish him a bit in press conferences saying, you know, why are you making all the fuss about this guy? What does he know? This is especially when he was young. He's only 18 years old. He doesn't know anything. McEnroe has come way around on that. He's very respectful of Boris Becker, and in fact, had dinner with him about a week or two ago. He asked if he could have dinner with Boris. He just wanted to talk to Boris about new rackets because he's always been fiddling. And Boris just basically said, hey, guy, get going.
Set points.
Yeah, set point. Boris said, listen, you know, you're great for the game. You know, commit yourself or stop playing. Don't keep this up.
Game, the second set.
Second set.
6 games to 3.
Sanches will be back at the U.S. Open after this word from the local station.
1 set all.
They're real underrated ground strokers, too, though. Young David Wheaton won Charleston this year, the U.S. clay courts, and in fact, he won the national junior clay courts.
Hour and 50 minutes. Sets are 1-all.
Yeah, Wheaton made some good passing shots against Paul Annacone, who chips and charges.
Kevin Kern isn't just a server.
Boy, he disguised that well, didn't he?
He did, because McEnroe didn't even lurch that way. He was closing in forward. Watch what McEnroe does. When he moves in, he's going to go to his right after this one. He gets to the center, and then he goes straight in. And see, he was really thinking the ball's come down the line. When a good player doesn't even flinch, you know that he's been fooled completely. John broke a string. You think about how close this match is. Sanches had a set point in the first set in the tiebreak. Could very well be up 2 sets. John got back on serve in the second, so if he could hold on, he could be up 2 sets. It's just been that close.
Serving at 30-15. First game of the third set.
Watch the good hands again by McEnroe. Stays down nicely for the half volley. That's a tough one. Sanches looks like he's made an excellent lob. McEnroe up nicely to put the smash away. Good tennis by both players.
First game goes to McEnroe.
Third set.
He wins the first game of the third set. Sets are 1-all. The financial district, the Twin Towers, the Twin Trade Towers, lower end of Manhattan. And then across to Flushing Meadow.
15
on the stadium. Sanches and McEnroe. Sanches serving. Love 1 in the third. Sets are 1-all. Thirty love. No hitter underway. Dave Steed of Toronto in the 8th inning against Cleveland.
Well, he's been good for a long time. Hadn't he hit a little lull for a year or so, but he's been terrific.
Wicked curveball. .40-15. Third set.
Game Sanches.
1-all.
1 game on.
Now to Leslie Visser.
Pat, I'm down here with former U.S. Open champion Manuel Orantes, who is also the Davis Cup captain for Spain. Manuel, how is Emilio playing?
Well, I think he's having a great year. He's number 7 in the ranking right now, and I think he's playing a great match. He had his chances in the first set in the tiebreaker, but he came back and won the second, and I think right now the match is quite even.
What will he have to do to win it?
Well, I think he plays like now, consistently, and I think he's returning the serving well, and maybe in the second set with 40 love he had lost the concentration, but if he keeps the concentration, I think he has a good chance.
Thank you. Back to you, Pat.
All right, Leslie, thank you.
Long.
15 love.
Again, a good play by Sanches.
Leslie talking to Manolo. You remember the cramp we saw him get in a match down in Florida?
Jimmy Connors tried to rub it out.
Right.
But it looked like a cantaloupe or a watermelon in there.
Or at least a grapefruit up under his thigh muscle. And he had muscular legs anyway.
Yes, he did. Good.
15 all.
Over in the grandstand, they're in a tiebreak in the second set. Wheaton won the first set 7-5.
You know, Mary, you talk about the good ground strokes at Wheaton and Kerr and sort of thing, but like they say, you can't hit what you can't see. The way those two guys serve, if you don't get a decent swipe at it, you don't have much chance. We understand Wheaton's had 4-0 in the tiebreak.
30-15.
That was just wide. I don't know if he believes it or not.
I think he knew it was wide.
He's right by his, that's his brother Javier there. And his coach Pato Alvarez in the cap.
There's another look, and you watch the court coverage by Sanches, and watch what he has to pull up short because there are some flowers in front. Right here, now he's got to worry about stopping. They've got a little box, a little railing there.
Game McEnroe.
Game McEnroe. He leads 2-1 in the third set. Sets are 1-all.
2-1.
At the stadium, at the U.S. Open of 1990, fourth round match, John McEnroe against Emilio Sanches. In the grandstand, David Wheaton won. Second set was a tiebreak, which he prevailed 7 points to 1. McEnroe leads 2-1 third set. They split the first two. First one in a tiebreak. Sanches 6-3 in the second.
Players are ready. Quiet, please.
I'm not even hooked up yet.
They've been playing for 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Thank you.
And they're just into the third set. And that does not help John, I don't think, in long haul, as we've discussed before, because he has not played a lot of matches recently. And he's probably not match tough. So in the first set, McEnroe won 69.1% of the points when he went to net. In the second set, he only won 42%. So he's dropped off, and of course you can give Sanches some of that credit for the good returns, the good passing shots.
Just got word that the umpire has officially warned Sanches about his coach's signaling.
He does that. He's notorious for that, Pato Alvarez. He does it for all the guys he coaches. He sits right on the court, and he talks real quickly. I've seen in the last couple of changeovers when Sanches gets to move over to this side, he talks, and the guy just, gives him a lot of gibberish and this and that, and he does it every time. This guy, he's been fined, Sanches. The Sanches brothers have been fined for getting coached illegally in their matches.
You think it's a coincidence where he fell into the stands a minute ago? It was right by him.
His brother Javier Sanches sitting right next to him.
Let's take another look at that last point. John thinks this ball's going out. He might have had a little bit of a play on. Hits right on the line. He's just mad at himself for letting that ball go. 40-15.
Two games all. Best records in men's singles, the U.S. Open. Tilden, Lendl, McEnroe third, 58-9. Then Jimmy Connors.
And little Bill Johnston down. That was the Bill Tilden era. You know, it's so difficult to try to figure out where people fit in the all-time greats. I think history will have to dictate that.
Well, I think it's hard to compare, too, because of the refinements made in the equipment and conditioning.
Well, you know, there's another stat that does not show in that. For years, you had to be an amateur to play in a Grand Slam event. Once you turned professional, you weren't eligible to play. Jack Kramer played Wimbledon, won it in 1947, turned pro. How many times might he have won the U.S. Open?
Rod Laver missed it 6
Rod
or 7
Laver
years.
misses 6. He wins the Grand Slam in 62. Laver and comes back and wins as a pro in 69. In between, he turned pro in 63. He couldn't play until 68.
Pancho Gonzalez never won Wimbledon for that reason.
How about depth of the competition?
More depth now than then, no question about that. Better equipment now.
Go back and check on Dave Steve's effort to pitch a no-hitter against Cleveland. He's gotten through the 8th. They're in the 9th. And there have already been 8 no-hitters this season.
2 in one night. Remember that?
And Dave Steve, 3 times in his career, has lost no-hitters in the 9th inning.
Some people don't lose any sleep over that either.
Must have been a tough night.
Or she doesn't understand tennis, because it's been a pretty good match.
Yeah, I'll say.
You know, it appears to me that just a little edge is coming off of McEnroe. He's not quite as sharp as he was. You can't be much sharper than he was in the first set. We take another look here. Now, this volley right here coming up was not a very good one. It's just not really. It's high, it's slow, so it wasn't close to what he was trying to pull off. Made it simple for Sanches.
30-15.
Foot fault called.
You know, that subject of who was the greatest, I asked the great Byron Nelson one time that same question, who was the greatest. Well, I'll get it in a minute.
There's the touch of genius by McEnroe. Sanches cannot see this coming at all. You see, he's on the baseline. Look at him. He doesn't even move. He can't believe what he just saw.
Game to McEnroe. He leads 3-2 in the third set. He missed it. Sanches is serving at 2-3 in the third. Sets are 1-all. Sanches in near court. McEnroe the other end. Let's go down to Leslie Visser.
Pat, Ken Farrar went out and spoke to Emilio Sanches, and what he said was that if he is being accused of coaching, to have the umpire give him a warning, otherwise he doesn't want to hear about it. Pat, Ken Farrar, of course, the Grand Prix supervisor.
Thank you, Leslie.
He doesn't want to get scolded. He wants it. If you can prove it, nail him. But as I said, Dan Lecanto in the chair, Ken Farrar, everybody knows that Alvarez coaches. And Alvarez shares something with John McEnroe. They've both been thrown out of a match 30 for acting up. Pato Alvarez was a player himself. And evidently, it got to the point where Pato was actually rolling around on the ground with his opponent. He got the hook for that.
There is the three-step code violation schedule in the Grand Slam rules. You get a warning, then they take the point away, and then you're defaulted.
40-15.
Pato Alvarez's name came up earlier this year when John McEnroe was defaulted out of the 4th round of the Australian Open against Michael Pernfors for obscenities and such. Because Pato and Earl Kushel, all the great hotheads in tennis, were brought up again. And as I said, Pato Alvarez was one of them.
Earl Kushel was thrown out of tennis for life for his behavior at Forest Hills one year, but what he did was like a Cub Scout compared to what the players have done since then and gotten away with. There's a bit of a little mishmash of rules, if you will, because this is a men's event. Grand Slam, ATP, and Grand Slam ITF are different now. They're using Grand Slam rules and regulations for the men's. Women's Tennis Association for the women's. So it's somewhat different rules for the different groups.
All. 15 all. It almost got over for McEnroe.
Sanches is taking the ball early. He's hitting it hard, and it will be a struggle for McEnroe to keep up with that pace. Point after point, volley after volley. McEnroe does not move as easily as he used to. But he must to stay with Sanches. Working so well for McEnroe, popped up on him in that case. And again, it suggests that he's not keeping his body underneath his feet quite as well, not moving as well.
This is the example you're speaking of. Just a little bit lacking now that McEnroe had early. Sanches was able to get to that drop volley. Of course, John has done that drop volley several times now. Sanches starting to look for it a little bit more. Didn't surprise him that time. There again, the first volley, a high volley by McEnroe, had nothing on it, landed on the service line, and let Sanches track it down. That ball should be put away where the guy never even gets his racket on. Here's another look. Watch where McEnroe's first volley lands. On the service line, inside the service line. Sanches gets another swing. And there's John. He should be angry with himself for a poor first volley.
Is there, Tony, such a thing as second wind in tennis?
Oh, sure. I think absolutely.
McEnroe, 31 years old now. Sanches is 25.
Big break. 4-3 for Sanches.
Back with McEnroe and Sanches. Sanches leading 4-3. And serving in the third set. Love 15. Pat Summerall with Tony Trabert and Mary Carrillo. Outstanding live fourth round action.
McEnroe fooled him that time.
Love 30.
Sanches was going to come in behind his backhand, changed his mind there. Now McEnroe sneaks in. Sanches doesn't know he's coming. And then John pulled off the good angle volley. See, here he comes. Now he gets a fairly high ball, and he did get this one angled off well.
It's love 40. Just like that.
Love 40.
You know, as a tennis player, you always feel that if you're broken, the time to get that break back is the very next game, because the other guy either gets too careful or he might get a little loose, a little relaxed. So here's a big chance for McEnroe to get that service break back, and an important one it is. John's going to argue about the baseline call.
15-40.
An excellent point. That ball was well inside the baseline. John was trying to suggest to Donald Leconto that maybe it was long. Afterwards, he looks at him and sort of gives him a go-away gesture.
He likes Donald Leconto, though. In fact, a couple of years ago, he thanked Leconto for a good job after a match played with Leconto in the chair.
Really?
That doesn't happen much.
No, I wouldn't think so.
30-40.
So 2 break points saved by Sanches. McEnroe still has another one.
Not too good. 2 of 8 chances.
No. 2 are better than none, though.
Yeah.
Good work by Sanches. Disappointing, I'm sure, for John. Love 40 is now deuce.
That could hurt your heart, couldn't it?
Yeah. And your legs, too. That was a tough run, that last one for John. These 2 guys got plenty of heart. It's really can get down to a question of how much stamina, lungs and legs, yeah. Exactly. Another terrific forehand by Sanches, getting that ball down.
Well,
all right.
Dave Steve of Toronto pitched a no-hitter.
Isn't that terrific?
The 9th this year. 3-0 over the Indians. Congratulations to him.
Amen. Great effort by Sanches. And he really set up beautifully for that last smash.
Sanchez leads 5-3.
5-3.
Watch how Sanches sets up behind the ball and then slides forward. This way the weight's going into the shot. See, he's sliding forward, shuffling, and really hammered that ball. He could see which way McEnroe went. McEnroe went to his left, so Sanches went the other way. So from love 40, Emilio Sanches wins the game. 5 straight points, and now McEnroe serving at 3-5 and in big trouble.
That was McEnroe's window to this match in my mind. He needed that break, and he didn't get it.
That's funny, Mary. At that stage, I was going to say last gasp for McEnroe. That's a little bit too strong, maybe, but I felt the same way. This was his really main opportunity to get back in this match. If he goes down 2-1, I think that might be too long a road for him to get back. Because, again, he's just not match tough, and you run out of gas.
Unbelievable shot.
Isn't that marvelous? You're about to fall into the tulips. Watch Sanches well outside the doubles line. That ball was never in the court until it landed. And see where McEnroe was past the single sideline, still wasn't able to reach the ball. Just a great, great shot by Sanches. Winners and unforced errors, 38-9 for Sanches.
Pretty good because he's playing an aggressive player, and he's being aggressive himself. Right. They're
more
both trying to dictate, and yet he's kept it down to 9 unforced.
More so than is his instinct.
Yes.
That's why I asked him when he was practicing if he was going to serve and volley and go win some. He said, you almost have to here. But he said, my serve's a little more effective than it is on clay. So I'm able to do that and get away with it because I don't have a real big serve. He's a smart server.
And what a return game he's brought to this court today.
40-15.
You return that left-handed swinging serve, you almost have to go up to get it. You can't go parallel the baseline as he did that time because he was well outside the doubles alley.
It just bananas him out.
Sure, it just keeps going farther and farther away from you, and you're stretching, and you got no hope.
40-15. Game to McEnroe. Sanchez leads 5-4 in the third set.
5 games to 4.
Sanchez serving at 5-4. Sets are 1-all.
Big game.
Please hold your
Big
positions.
game for both players.
Thank you.
Because we all think of the feeling that if this goes 5, McEnroe doesn't have as big a chance, lessens his chances. So he's got to get a break here.
What a great return.
Love 50.
Coach Pato Alvarez, he's always trying to do some hand signals or whatever. Sometimes he just tries to encourage, but he always wears a bright hat.
Thank you.
He's got a zillion different really bright colored hats in case he's got to move. So his players, I'm serious, so his man can track him in the stand.
McEnroe really makes a good forehand and gets up in the air for this smash.
30.
It took something out of him. He really grunted and groaned, but he got up there and made a good smash. And he's got a chance here at love 30.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
No sense saving it. You might as well expend it here and try to get back in this third set.
He's got to keep coming after that serve.
Yep.
Got to take it to this guy. Hard to do anything off that well-placed serve. 94 miles an hour, right in the corner.
And he knows how crucial that first serve is on these given points because he knows McEnroe's going to try to come in off the second one.
$15-30. Second serve.
Terrific second serve.
30 all.
Plenty of heat, almost 80 miles an hour, right into the body.
John was trying to get around it, moving towards the center of the court. Got him tight into the body. He couldn't do anything with it. Took a little courage to let that baby go, too. It was out maybe a foot or so.
I was thinking that.
Man, number 7.
That was 102 miles an hour.
This is coming right at you, and watch this one. Perfectly placed. McEnroe didn't even flinch, so he was fooled, and it's set point. If he wins this one, Sanchez will lead 2-1.
Game third set, Sanchez. 6 games to 4.
Well, Tim, this one has been a hitter. Sets are now 2-1 Sanches.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think Sanches could play this well on this kind of a court. He has made more good returns, not just chipping, but going over the ball than I thought he'd be capable of because it is a little faster surface.
Well, he won a hard court title, a tune-up to the Australian Open earlier this year. And as I said, he's beaten the likes of Ivan Lendl on a surface just like this. That was also this year.
Earlier today, on Lendl in straight sets advances. So that is Mary Jo Fernandez, Gabriela Sabatini, Mesh. Kevin Curran in the grandstand is up a break in the third set against Cahill.
Against David Wheaton, who on that court 2 years ago won the U.S. junior title over Cherkasov, the man who beat Chang yesterday. That's a lucky court for David Wheaton.
40 flat.
I said Cahill, I meant Wheaton.
Wheaton already got to the quarters of the Australian this year, had a good-looking Wimbledon as well. Another young American who can play ball.
Game McEnroe.
James McEnroe. They start their fourth set.
First
So
game,
he leads
4
1-love
sets.
in the fourth. Bradshaw's involved.
Quiet blitz. Please hold your positions on the spare.
He might even sing.
Terry, Lord forbid.
Oh, he can sing. I've heard him. Of course, it was late.
That's what it's going to take.
Love 15.
A terrifically deep return and a good crisp volley. Question is, can McEnroe do that enough? And will Sanches miss enough first serves? Let him do it.
So hard to strike that Sanches ball. It's got a lot of work on, a lot of topspin. It's hard to meet that right.
15.
And then again, Sanches is smart, so he serves and comes in and says, John, you're not going to come in on me all the time. We've talked about Javier Sanches, and I think everyone knows of Arantxa. There's another sister that also plays tennis.
Marissa.
So there are 4 kids in that family, all play good tennis.
And for the first time ever this year, both Arantxa, Sanches, and Emilio were ranked in the top 10 at the same time. It's never happened before, brother-sister like that.
Are that 2 Malevas ranked in the top 10 in the women's?
Katerina and Manuela.
Right.
And there's a Magdalena, the youngest.
Right, coming up.
Katerina right now is ranked higher than Manuela at 7 in the world. Manuela plays Martina Navratilova after this match.
That's your story. Tie break in the first set. Sanchez 6-3 in the second, then 6-4.
Boy, hasn't given away a freebie like that in a long time.
15-40.
What a chance for John McEnroe. Dig in on this fourth set. He's got 2 chances.
Thank you. Quiet please.
approval. Well, he should.
McEnroe leads 2-0.
He played a good game. Here he comes again to Sanches. Drove that ball a little pace. Again, not deep enough, really, but Sanches sort of mishit this. A little extra topspin, stayed nice and high. Made it pretty easy for John.
I think McEnroe should continue to approach to the Sanches backhand like that.
Right.
You know, he tends to slice it in that topspin of his. Sometimes it works, but mostly it's a bluff. He tries to bully it over and make an aggressive shot, but he doesn't have great control there.
Love 15.
That's kind of painful.
Mary, you know, we were talking about brothers, sisters in the top 10, Gene and Sandy Mayer. We certainly don't want to forget them, their exploits and capabilities on the...
Slice it in that topspin of his. Sometimes it works, but mostly it's a bluff. He tries to bully it over and make an aggressive shot, but he doesn't have great control there. Oh, no.
Love 15.
That's kind of painful.
Mary, you know, we were talking about brothers, sisters in the top 10, Gene and Sandy Mayer. We certainly don't want to forget them, their exploits and capabilities on the tennis court. And I'm sure if you go back far enough, there might be some others.
Patrick McEnroe, John's kid brother, was a winner in a Grand Slam. This one won his first round here. First time he'd ever done that. Nicely done by Pat McEnroe. He's down 3-1 in the 5th set against Jeff Tarango. Not only that, but Tarango was serving at 5-4 in the 5th, and he double faulted 3 times.
Wow.
And at match point, when Patrick McEnroe won his first Grand Slam round, John McEnroe Sr. jumped out of the stands like I've never seen him when John McEnroe Jr. won Wimbledon or the U.S. Open. It was so wonderful. This guy went nuts. It was lovely to see. There's Mayor Dinkins toweling off behind John McEnroe Sr. Looks like he's betting on this match or something.
He is a serious tennis player and fan.
Good.
Mayor Dinkins also deserves a lot of credit for the fact that we don't hear those airplanes firing out of LaGuardia overhead.
He's a god around the tennis players in this event.
Their office called me, Mary, because he heard him say that his backhand was a little suspect, you said the other day. So he doesn't want that word to get out to everybody, all the buddies he plays with.
Too late.
Quiet. 15-40.
That's number 6, my unofficial count.
Boy, this is exactly what John McEnroe doesn't need. Get broken right back and throw this match back on serve after fighting so hard to finally break Sanches in the last game.
There's a double fault story. McEnroe 6 and 6, 6 aces, 6 double faults. Sanches 7 aces and no double faults. 2 break points.
Talking to himself.
Yep.
He said wonderful.
Not very nice. He was being a little sarcastic, I think. Watch how tough it is. McEnroe gets in here and stretches down. That's a terrific shot. That low volley, and that's why you don't see any 6'8" players so successful in this game, because they are able to get the ball down at your feet. That's a long ways from those big, tall guys.
He's only gotten in 1 first serve in this game. Helps when he gets him in, doesn't it?
Yep. I don't know anyone that doesn't help if you play this game. Get that first baby in.
Rare deuce.
2 big break points saved by McEnroe.
Curran has won the 3rd set in the grandstand. 2-1 Wheaton.
That ticked the top of the net. That'll throw your timing off. Sanches does a good job to get around this left-hander's serve, hit a forehand, because that ball keeps coming into your body. You see, it just touched the top of the tape. Again, break point now for Sanches. He's trying to get back on the serve. McEnroe at 2-love in this 4th set.
Seven aces.
You want to see a swinging left-handed serve. Watch this one. This will take you out of the county. I think we've got it to show you. Here we go. See where Sanches starting at the top of your screen? Watch where he finishes. And still couldn't get his racket on the ball.
Sanches has had break points in 4 other McEnroe service games, and it's come through.
Converted every time, right?
Here comes another one.
Another chance. In the 4th set. McEnroe leads 2 games to love here in the 4th. Sanches leads in sets 2-1.
McEnroe went down the center on a break point in this court, and then next time at break point he swung it real wide. So Sanches can't know what he's going to come with. You know, if you're playing a lefty, you almost have to bet that that's where he's going to come. Here's his swinging serve again. Comes wide. This one didn't get as wide. Sanches really had a pretty good play on this ball, but his feet were never set, see? If you stand a little more to your left to return that serve, so you're not moving, your weight's not going out of the court, you have a better chance to make the shot and recover. Got him. 3 times in a row he's gotten around and hit that forehand on the return.
Another break point.
Wasn't a serve that hurt him. It was only at 78 miles an hour. Now it's his 5th break point of this game.
And I don't think John's getting that one where he wants to either, not near enough to the center line so that Sanches is able to get around it. Missed it.
Deuce.
Patrick McEnroe in the blue cap and the sunglasses, scratching his head.
Trying to be calm.
Yeah. Peter Fleming's sitting there too. He and John won the U.S. Open 3 times in doubles, 79, 81, 83. They won Wimbledon 4 times. There's Peter.
On the left there in the white shirt.
Of course, last year McEnroe won the doubles here with Mark Woodford. Again, Sanches goes for the big topspin backhand. Now that shot works well for him in doubles. But in fact, the last 2 topspin backhand passes he's tried have landed in the doubles alley. That's not good enough.
This is the first game point for McEnroe coming up in this game. Sanches had enough time on that backhand, just didn't pull it off. He's made plenty of them. He missed it. Looked like he mistimed that baby, didn't he?
Sure did.
Really pulled up on it.
Yeah, I don't know where he thought it was going to come through faster. Have another look at it. He sets. See how straight up he is, both feet off the ground. He really didn't do that one well at all. He knows it better than anyone. But he played that like he thought it was going to scoot through a little faster, and it sort of bit on him, and he just got ahead of it. Boy, you know, it's so easy up here. We don't miss a thing. But having been down there, we know how tough it is.
Advantage, McEnroe.
Sanches doesn't like the call at all. This is what Stan Smith was talking about in the interview. The crowd trying to get behind McEnroe and keep him buoyed up a little bit, boost him a little. When you start getting a little saggy, a little tired, that helps you a lot. You'll hear a pretty good roar if he wins this game.
2 years ago, John McEnroe said, I become a New Yorker when I step into the National Tennis Center. And anyone who knows a New Yorker knows what I mean.
6 seconds.
He's also moved back to New York after spending a lot of years out on the coast, out in Malibu. He said he was sort of Hollywooding out. He needed the energy of New York. And I agree with him on that one.
That's not the most conducive place to train, Malibu, California.
You tried it for a while, didn't you?
I lived in L.A. for 20-some years, but I didn't have enough money to live in Malibu.
I always felt, I've been telling John that for years. There's Tatum O'Neal, Doug Saputo, and Jimmy Malmy from Douglaston, who've been watching John McEnroe play tennis for about 20 years. Good buddies of his from D-Town. But I used to tell John that all the time in the last couple of years. Move back to New York where you have to walk into a bar and guys ask you, how'd you lose to that commie? It doesn't happen in Malibu.
Deuce.
That serve is 73 miles an hour. No sting at all. It doesn't get wide. See, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't get into the body. It doesn't go away. It doesn't come in. So Sanches could pick his spots. 73 miles an hour is not that fast. So he's losing a little bit. That could be fatigue. But he's hanging tough, McEnroe, trying to protect that service break he has here in the fourth set, trailing 2-1.
Deuce.
Now there you see McEnroe was a yard behind the baseline, so he's not getting in as well. Watch where McEnroe makes his half volley. He's been getting inside the service line. Watch here. He was good 4 or 5 feet, that back foot from the service line, so he's not as quick as he was earlier. That's to be expected.
Coming up on 3 hours after.
Sanches breaks. Here's how he did it. McEnroe, not enough sting on the serve. Good low return. Nice half volley by John. And then the whipping forehand. And that's all she wrote.
Yeah, that makes it.
Thank you.
He cut the bulge a lot, Sanches, by winning that last game, because now they're right back on serve.
Is that marvelous? Either make this perfectly or you're out of the point anyway. Watch how low McEnroe stays when he makes this little volley right here. Down just behind the service line. Perfect angle. Great touch. Look how low he is. Hands out in front. There's a little movement in the wrist, the hands that great tennis players have that you cannot teach to anyone. You can't describe it. It's just there when you need it.
But McEnroe, in fact, has got to work that hard. And he's got to work even harder than that, so he doesn't have to make such an astounding volley from such a tough position.
All the time, you can't do that.
He just can't.
Right.
He's got to move harder so that he doesn't have to make great volleys.
That's where that service break hurt him so much, because it just makes that road back that much longer.
Look how much further in the net he was on that one. He just kept moving in off of his approach shot and had a very simple volley.
101 miles an hour on that serve by Sanches, so he's not losing much in that department.
15-30.
John has made very few passing shots.
He sure has.
He's made very few, and that's an area where he used to be absolutely devastating. He's made a lot of good approaches off the second serves.
My feeling is Sanches, he's a good volleyer, but he's not a great volleyer low to high. McEnroe should just try to work it a little bit. You know, make him volley up and then pass him.
40-30.
He's just not, Sanches doesn't even have to take a swing at these.
That's something that is just about lost in the game now, getting the ball down, taking a little pace off, and making a player work for it. If you're not in a position to make a good high percentage attempt at the passing shot, there was a time when the player tried to get it down and stay in the point. Where did that shot come from? Vintage McEnroe. Sanches deep, hits a short ball. John casually drops it over the net and walks on in.
In fact,
good racket preference. Go ahead, Mir.
I was just going to say that touch shot he made so well was only the 6th time in 44 points he won a rally on a ground stroke. Everything else every other winner he's had has been at the net.
Right. And that's why he's coming in at all costs.
That's
because
right.
He just has no confidence. 3 hours they've been out there, Patrick. You would suspect the legs would start to get a little weary after 3 hours.
And again, McEnroe was right on top of the net for this final volley. A lot of people try to, watch what happens here, a lot of people try to save energy, not try to close in as much. In fact, you're going to lose that way. You've got to make the effort to get that tight to the net. It makes things so much simpler. Look, he takes a real nice gallop there to be in a good volley position.
Yeah, he made a great return, deep and right down that line.
He has a break point.
Well, hasn't Sanches come back well on break points again?
And he put a little extra stuff on that serve, too. Not necessarily just speed, but direction, location. You ever watch tennis players' eyes are darting all over the place. They want to know everything that's going on.
Advantage, McEnroe.
101 miles an hour, and McEnroe takes it early and gets it into a spot where he puts Sanches in trouble. Right here. Now look at John. He realizes he's hurt him. In he comes. Sanches forced to try to make a pass on the run. Not bad for Sanches. 5 breaks and 13 attempts.
Flat breaks.
McEnroe has not been able to do it that well, but he has a break point here.
And he's going to look at a second serve.
He missed it. McEnroe can't believe it. He did everything but make the volley.
He might cry.
Watch John now. He anticipates. He covers it down the line. He's there in plenty of time. Overplays it. Now watch him. We'll see what Emilio thought of this one. Oh, he knows he got lucky there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He barely missed the net.
You usually see more expression on the guy that lost the point than one that wins it. That time we got some from both of them.
Advantage, Sanches.
Smart play by Sanches. McEnroe hurting him by coming in off the return of serve. So he said, I'll come in. Maybe you can't come in then. See if he comes in again here. Missed that one wide.
Good.
Living on the edge, isn't he?
The McEnroe short backhand cross court was such precision because it was coming off one of those heavily topped forehands of Sanches, and John got out in front, clipped it cross court just over the net. Good angle.
Advantage, Sanches.
McEnroe had this fantasy about coming into the U.S. Open the way Greg LeMond came into the Tour de France, not putting all the pieces together until the race had actually started. He's been up and down more hills than LeMond was. Sanches is real quick. I don't know that McEnroe should keep tempting things by going for this one, because he even had a play on this. He's so quick.
Watch well, we missed the short forehands by Sanches. That's what let McEnroe work his way in. I think you're right, Mayor, but I think McEnroe is relying on the disguise of it too, not necessarily seeing it coming.
Deuce again.
Sanches has not been able to pull that string on the forehand quite as well here. He's hitting the ball shorter and shorter. That can help McEnroe if he can take advantage of it. See if Sanches wants to come in behind this serve.
He'll have to.
Awfully good stuff by both players. Great touch by Sanches. Here's another look, and watch the good touch. Good depth here. Great shot by McEnroe, but he's got so far to come, he just can't quite get there.
But that's a good idea for McEnroe. He's doing what we mentioned before, chipping it in there, setting up the next point.
Those 31-year-old legs just can't quite deliver him in time. A long haul, a long run to no avail. But John can't afford to save anything. He's got to use it up, trying to stay in this match.
2-2 in the fourth set. Sanches up 2-1.
3 hours and 7 minutes of play.
I was watching McEnroe's first round match with Javier Sanches with Billie Jean King, who's done so much to get Martina remotivated. Billie would love to work with McEnroe. She says we're two hotheads. We'd get along great. And she thinks that he's still got a lot of tennis in him, but she would love to see him commit to really pay the price. She doesn't think he ever has. She said if you take responsibility for your life, you're empowered. And if you don't, you're in pain. She looked at McEnroe, who was struggling, and said, this man's in pain. And as she once said of Jimmy Connors, he's never going to have to look back after it's all over and say, what if?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's why McEnroe is still out there. I think that's why I think he just feels like he can't go out the wrong way. He wants to show some good tennis.
I think the only what if in Jimmy Connors looking back is a lack of a Davis Cup win. He didn't play much Davis Cup, and I think he'll always be sorry for that. Well, that's just what John tried to do to him a moment ago.
30-15.
This is one of those touch things that you do in doubles, getting the ball down low. You're out of position. Keep it low. Make him volley up to you. That time McEnroe couldn't get to it.
30-15. That's over in the grandstand.
(40-15).
What Billie Jean wants to know about John is, can he laugh? You know, can he still laugh about it and, you know, keep the right... She says, I like working with people who know how to laugh. Helps.
Game McEnroe.
And that helps.
Holds. We'll be back at the U.S. Open after this message and a word from your local station.
Players are ready. Quiet please.
Sanches will be serving at 2-3 in the fourth. He's up 2-1. The stadium, the huge stadium. We're live for this fourth round match.
Still a lot of people here, aren't there?
Yeah.
Love 15.
You can see how well Sanches has served the last two sets. It explains a lot of his success. McEnroe's been trying and trying to break him, and it hasn't been easy. As you can see, Mac's serve has been up and down.
McEnroe's broken 3 times. He's been broken 5 times.
Perfect.
That also shows a little leg weariness on McEnroe's part. Wasn't able to get back as well. It was a good lob, but not much spring in the legs like there was earlier. Right there. See, he tries to leap early. Of course, the ball's going over him quickly. Good shot by the Spaniard.
It's been his best, his forehand. That's his 21st winner, more than anywhere else in his game.
30-15.
McEnroe, by comparison, has only had 6 forehand winners and none on the backhand side. It's all been happening at net for John. 42 winners from there. That's forehand again.
40-15.
I'm surprised that Sanches isn't coming a little bit more on his serve, because when he forces McEnroe to stay back, he's not had much success, as you just mentioned, Mary. And if you don't come in, McEnroe doesn't have to worry about directing the ball as much. He just tries to get in and run in and see if he can pick off the volley.
Game Sanches.
Ace number 8.
3 games all.
Three all in the fourth. McEnroe won the first set. A tie break. Sanches came back, won the next 2, and it's 3 all in the fourth.
$15 love. 30 plus.
Serve was 87 miles an hour.
And Sanches, we had clocked at 101. Sanches not returning serve as consistently well as he did earlier.
His level of play has dropped down.
Yep.
McEnroe hasn't been he hasn't been able to take advantage of that.
You sense any fatigue in Sanches?
No. I don't think it's fatigue. I just think it's the moment of the match.
It's hard to play at the level he was.
Yep.
For a long time.
30-15.
Double fault number 7 for John.
I used to talk to John about before Davis Cup matches. I said, now you're going to argue about the calls, and you're the best player in the world. You're going to serve more doubles, and they're going to miss calls. And if you can rationalize, you know, that you can serve 7 doubles in a match, why can't you rationalize they might miss a call if, in fact, they miss a call? I never got much of an answer.
Don't you think it's too rational a
Maybe.
question?
Good shot there.
He's just snacking on some of these serves.
Here's another look. Again, I think sometimes his toss goes askew a little bit. This one was fairly deep, but didn't have much on it. That one well in. It was 81 miles an hour. McEnroe changing rackets. What I think, Mary, is that sometimes he doesn't get the toss far enough into the court. As a result, he's pulling the ball more than really being able to hit it.
Sometimes he lets it drop as well.
Yep.
And his toss used to be, remember how true it used to be?
Yep.
Every single toss exactly the same. That just hasn't been the case. Again, it's what McEnroe speaks about, the fact that, you know, his serve betrays him too much these days, and that he just he doesn't move as well. There's no two ways about it. He's got to get prepared better if he really wants to make a legitimate comeback, an honest one. Not what he's been doing the last couple of years. He's got to prepare better. He's got to get his serve organized. And he's got to move really well.
Those are a lot of gatas.
Yeah.
$30 all.
40-30.
You know, after all of the, he hasn't been a happy enough champion, McEnroe. You know, he's had too many bad times, too many blow-ups, too much aggravation. He said before this tournament, I may not win the U.S. Open this year, and some people may call that a failure and say, why is he even playing? But he said a lot of it is just to go out, to let go of all that stuff, to get this nuttiness or whatever it is inside, to get it out.
He holds. McEnroe leads 4-3 in the fourth set.
McEnroe leads 4-3.
Sanches serving at 3-4. Fourth set. He's up 2-1.
Love 15.
Backhand letting Sanches down the last few games. Still think he'd be smart to serve and volley a little bit more to keep McEnroe away from the net.
Outstanding.
It's a good point, and you see Sanches is really close to the net after this one right here. Look how close he is. And McEnroe hit it real hard. It happened to go right at him. He just responded with a little backhand volley right here, just protection.
(30-15).
That's the best way to counteract a guy that wants to take your serve and come in. You come in yourself. And again, Mary mentioned the percentages. He's not hurting you off the ground at all, McEnroe. So force him to have to make passing shots.
30-15.
Pretty good volleying there by Sanches.
40-15.
You'd have thought that McEnroe was in a driver's seat after this volley right here. But he went to the big opening that Sanches closed off.
Is the most passing shots McEnroe has needed to try to hit. He didn't need any against his other opponents, his other three opponents. He hasn't played someone who's been in his face at the net all day long, as Emilio Sanches is effectively doing. McEnroe beat Javier Sanches, who didn't try to come to the net. That was in the first round. And he beat Chesnikov, who didn't try much of that either. And then he beat David Engel, a Swede who never came in. So his passing shots are cold.
So you got to be careful here. Lightning can strike very quickly. 4 on the fourth.
But you can't be too careful.
No, no. This is when you play the good high percentage stuff. Don't try anything flaky.
15 love.
Boy, double fault number 8.
Over in the grandstand, Wheaton has won 6-4 in the fourth.
Not a lot of people were watching that win, but there were a lot of Wheatons there. His father, Bruce, his mother, Mary Jane, his brothers, Mark and John, Marnie, sister. That's a nice big win for David Wheaton.
You bet.
He plays the winner of this one.
Quarterfinals of the U.S. Open. Now that one was 91 miles an hour.
So that's the way the draw looks. Wheaton advances. He'll play the winner of this match. Lendl is already there.
Well, he can still make the forehand.
30 all.
At this point, McEnroe knows how tough the Sanches forehand is, but it's his natural volley, obviously, into the open court. That one popped up and was no problem at all for Sanches. He had all kinds of time to find the line.
30 all, look out.
You almost have to go into that backhand.
You do. He should go
whether
behind him.
Unnatural or not. I mean, he's good enough to go either direction with it. Forget that natural thing. Get on the backhand where he hadn't been as successful.
Or really start crisping up those first volleys. They looked a lot better in set 1.
Yep. Tough second serve coming here at 30 all. He's already served a double in this game. I think that must have hit on the paint on the line because it jumped.
40-30.
A heck of a second serve by McEnroe. Very gutsy.
Good indeed. Approaching 3.5 hours in this match. Advantage McEnroe. 40-30.
Fans trying to feed him, trying to nourish him.
Thank you. Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Derek Rastagno type let cord there. The kind Rastagno tried to play at his own match point against Becker last year, and he couldn't control it either. That's a very tight net. The ball hits it and really sits up, and McEnroe had no play on it. At Wimbledon, those net posts are sunk into the grass, and it's a much looser net. You tend to get balls that just dribble over the net. Not here at the Open. They bounce off like it's a fence.
Sanches measured those two backhands better, and he has a huge break point right here. The return of serve was done carefully, and then he really set up nicely for that winning backhand. So it's break point for Emilio Sanches. He would be serving for the match if he gets this one. McEnroe wisely taking a little extra time. 25 seconds the players have between points.
Tough second serve coming.
Well, you're not kidding. You know, if you try to do too much with it, you can very easily miss it. And
happened earlier.
And if you hit it too short, the guy's going to jump all over you.
Oh, what a good one.
Just long. Two very, very deep, good second serves by McEnroe under pressure, break point. But can you keep doing that? Keep taking those chances and pull it off.
Not a great strategy to have to keep putting in second serves on break points. Serve to the Sanches forehand.
That's out. Good.
Keep in mind, Sanches has broken McEnroe 5 times. Every time he's had a chance to break him, he has. Cold. He didn't even make a move. He didn't even flinch.
Well, you're a sitting duck, aren't you, up there when you make this kind of a return? Short volley hits the net, sits up. Now he can go any place he wants with it. I guess you might as well try to guess and go one way or the other, but it was a pretty hopeless situation. Really bad luck for McEnroe that his ball caught the tape. So again, break point. Good first serve.
Back at deuce again. Will Chamberlain looking on. Situation. McEnroe won the first set. Sanches the next two. 4-all on the fourth.
Another one of those marvelous second serves that fools Sanches. Watch Sanches move to his left, trying to step around to hit a forehand. McEnroe kicks it out the other way and aces him. His 8th ace.
We haven't had the problem that we had in previous years with the airplane, thankfully.
Love 15.
Love 15. The crowd would like to see it go 5 sets. I'm not sure the players would.
Their hearts would, but I'm not sure about the legs, huh? You know McEnroe wants it to go 5 because otherwise he has no chance to win.
He's gone otherwise.
Right.
It's been over a year since John McEnroe won a tournament. Last year here, he lost to a qualifier. Remember that, Paul Harhuis? He was expelled from the Australian Open. He didn't even bother going to the French Open, and he lost in the first round of Wimbledon to Derek Rostagno. This would be his best effort all year.
If he can find it, this is where he'd like to find it. His favorite spot, New York, the U.S. Open. 2 points away from taking this to a 5th set.
15-30.
McEnroe thinks Sanches hit the net. Daniel Lecanto, I don't think he agrees with it.
Let's take another look and see what happened. Sanches guessed this. We know that. Now let's see what happens. He's all right.
Yeah.
He was all right. He catches it on the frame.
Pretty close.
Close to what?
Close to touching the net.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't.
Quiet, please.
Now, once you got to make contact with the ball on your side of the net, but you can follow through beyond the plane of the net.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
If the ball hits in your side of the court with wind and or spin, it bounces back into the other over the net. You can reach over as long as you don't touch the net. Boy, oh boy, that's something.
One more point, and he went to the Sanches backhand. That's what to attack.
That point for McEnroe. He's got him yelling.
$30-40.
He'll have them on their feet if he wins this set.
Quiet, please. Thank you. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
Now, you got to know that John's going to come
to the net if he possibly can. Does Emilio come in behind the second serve?
What an effort.
Here's another look. McEnroe screamed out right there. When you saw McEnroe raise his fist, he hollered, yeah. And there was so much crowd noise going on that I don't know if the official even knew it.
Seats quickly, please.
Here he gets this ball. This is where McEnroe thought it was over. Now he gets all the way across the court to get one more back.
Final set, McEnroe to serve.
And doesn't get it up high enough or deep enough and cannot recover this one. Gallant effort. Look at him saying, hey, the guy can't holler in the middle of a point. We go to set number 5. That was 3 hours and 41 minutes to finish the 4 sets.
Final set coming with McEnroe serving. John McEnroe is 9-1 in 5-set matches at the U.S. Open. Sanches 0 for 2 in 5-set matches here at the U.S. Open.
A lot of that you have to ask when. When was that?
Quiet, please. Love.
McEnroe's only 5-set loss here was 2 years ago when he lost to Mark Woodford. Emilio Sanches, he lost a tough one to Thierry Champion in 1986. 7-5 in the 5th.
My point is what happened in 86 has very little bearing on what's happening now.
He won a tough one, Sanches, over Todd Witzkin in 5 sets. He's had a lot of 5-setters at the French, boy.
Game to McEnroe.
Ball change.
He leads 1 game to love in the final set.
First game, final set.
McEnroe up 1 game to love.
Quiet, please.
In the final set. And we will stay with this match until its conclusion. If it does run indeed past our scheduled time at the top of the hour, which would be 6 o'clock here in the East, we'll stay.
You know, to get to this round, Sanches won a 5-set match over Fabrice Santoro of France, 7-5 in the 5th. He won the first 2 sets, lost the next 2, so it's back-to-back 5-setters for him.
Let's go down to Leslie Fisher.
15 love.
Pat, I'm here with Patrick McEnroe, who had a pretty good tournament, won a 5-setter of his own in this U.S. Open. Patrick, what does John have to do to win this match?
Well, I think it's been an unbelievable match so far. Sanches has played great, and John just hit a couple of unbelievable second serves in that 4th. And I think he's just going to keep the pressure on, keep coming in on his backhand, and I think he's going to take it in the 5th.
What does this crowd mean to him?
Well, I think obviously playing here, and the crowd's obviously into it. They wanted to see a match like this, and it's just an unbelievable excitement happening here now. It's great.
Thank you, Patrick. Pat.
Thank you, Leslie.
Pat McEnroe plays some pretty good ball with Jim Grab in doubles. In fact, Sanches, the other 5-setter he's played at the Open, was a loss to Jim Grab back in '89, last year here in the round of 32.
Patrick McEnroe and Jim Grab won the French Open doubles. I was so tickled to see
'89 that was.
Kay McEnroe show up for the finals there, because they've been all over John, and they love Patrick as much.
Oh boy. And Mark, the middle brother.
40 love.
One of the sweet ladies, Kay McEnroe. Boy, oh boy, you think of the excitement, the nervousness, the tension that they've been through watching their kids play tennis. And they've been all over the world. They've been with them for Davis Cup and Grand Slam events.
Sanches.
Everybody said that tougher to watch than it is to play.
I was related to being in the back seat of a car. You hope that the driver sees the same thing you do and going to react okay. The driver sees the same thing you do and going to react okay. You can't do anything about it. You got to just sit there and hope. 1-all in the 5th. What a match. I think for both players' sake, they're fortunate that it hasn't been a searing sun. It's been overcast a good bit of the day, though it's humid. It's been a little easier on them.
Love.
Here's the volley. Good preparation. See how his racket was up? This had some real sting on it. Deep into the corner. And as quick as Sanches is, he couldn't even get a racket on it. That's what you're supposed to do with the volley that's higher than the top of the net.
Martina Navratilova is supposed to play on this court next against Manuela Maleva. I know she's a big fan of McEnroe's, but she won the doubles here with Emilio, the mixed doubles a couple of years ago. Still, I think she's pulling to the vet.
30 love.
Early today, it seems like 3 days ago. Yvonne Lindell advanced. Wheaton advanced. That hasn't been that long ago. Mary Jo Fernandez. Sabatini. That was earlier.
40 love.
40 love.
Little bounces come out of the step of Sanches. He sort of stood flat-footed trying to return that last one. That's maybe why they've been out there 3 hours and 51 minutes.
Game McEnroe.
Game to McEnroe. He leads 2-1 in the final
McEnroe
set.
leads 2-1. Love.
2-1 McEnroe.
This has been a lot longer than 60 minutes. This match is almost 4 hours old, and John McEnroe has been involved in 2 of the longest matches ever played. Against Mats Wilander in Davis Cup, which he won. That was over 6 hours. And a 6-hour match in Davis Cup against Boris Becker of Germany, which he lost.
30 love.
I don't know how long they were, but he played a couple of long matches in Buenos Aires in Davis Cup against Vilas and Cleric when I was a captain. Just tremendous efforts. He lost both of them, as I recall, but boy, they were tough battles, long and
against
dirty.
Cleric and Vilas.
Yeah. Did I?
Yeah, that's right.
Both these fellas are going to sleep well tonight. The massage and the hot tub are going to feel awfully good. Tough work. Sanches is 25 years of age, but McEnroe is 31.
Well, there won't be much boogieing tonight, I don't think.
30 all.
All.
Trouble. Dangerous shot.
He knew it as soon as he touched it.
Brother Patrick on his feet, applauding his brother. When you're this close to an opponent, you ought to be able to bunt a passing shot by him. He gets in there close. Now, he's got a lot of choice. Got plenty of time to go down the line, cross court. And if this one isn't just right, you're out of it. And that's what happened. Suspect choice of shots that time by Sanches. That may seem harsh, but I think that's fact.
Break point.
Tried to sneak in.
Yeah, but on the wrong side, forehand side.
If Emilio Sanches, Tony, has enough time to run around that forehand, you got to know that he's going to unload on it.
Yep. He might have been better off letting Emilio know he's coming, make a little noise, so he might rush a little bit.
Is that legal?
Well, you can squeak your feet a little bit coming in. You don't have to scream and holler, but...
The old Tony Trabert squeak play.
Yeah, sometimes you know you sort of tippy-toe in quietly. Other times you come in like a herd of elephants. Just over the baseline.
Advantage Sanches.
Make no mistake about it, Sanches is not as fresh as he was earlier in the day.
Who could be?
He is feeling a little bit. He's not covering court quite as well.
You're not either.
No, you're right. Not getting as many first serves in as Sanches. That was 89 miles per hour. 66% now.
Game Sanches.
2-2 in the final set now.
He's trying so hard to take that Sanches serve right on the top of its bounce, you know, rush it and charge in, and he's just miscuing some of them. But I think it is the right play.
Yeah, it's worth a try. You're not going to make them all.
Trying to force it, trying to pressure Sanches.
Yeah, you tell it's a bit of a suicide play in a way. You get caught inside the court. If you make a good shot, you got a chance. If you don't, you're probably going to get past. But his percentages overall, has it worked well for you? And it's really been the main thing that's worked for McEnroe throughout this match.
Thank you.
Big day in baseball. Dave Steed with the no-hitter for Toronto. Mets beat San Francisco again. Pittsburgh over Houston. Dodgers beat Montreal. And Cincinnati beat the Cubs again. San Diego 9, Philadelphia 1. All those are finals. 5-0 the Braves over the Cardinals. McEnroe serving. 15 love.
Well, they're 2 sets apiece, 2 all in the 5th. They've been out there just on 4 hours. They've each won 146 points. I'd say it's a fairly even match. Amazing.
all.
Mary, what surprised me a bit, there you see right on 4 hours, is that Sanches has been able to get around to hit forehands on that left-hander serve. I would think that John could sweep it and get it over on the backhand side whenever he wants to. He just did it there on the ad court.
See, that's why I think McEnroe has to go back to what he did so well in set 1. He mixed it around a lot. Sanches so knows that McEnroe is going for that serve that he's taking it on the forehand side. That should be telling John something.
But he's not lining up, standing up so far to the left. He's sliding that way. What I'm saying is I would think you could still slip it to the backhand side. You know, swing
it over there.
Yeah. Hook it into that backhand, make him hit backhands on instead of forehands.
There you go. 106 miles an hour, his 9th ace, and he shot it up that forehand side. That's what makes the slice so effective. You know, it's such a contradictory serve to go here, flat to the forehand, when you've been sending him to the backhand side.
Sanches didn't even move, did he?
No.
So you know he was frozen. He was looking for it to come to the other side.
He leads 3-2 in the final set.
McEnroe leads 3 games to 2. McEnroe leads 3 games to 2.
And now this tournament summary, sponsored by AT&T, the right choice.
Total points in this match: Sanches 146, McEnroe 146. Net approaches points won. Sanches 56 and 41. McEnroe 148 and 86. Keep this in mind: McEnroe 9-1 in his career in U.S. Open 5-set matches. We're in the final set now. He leads 3-2. We're in the final set. Pat Summerall with Murray Carrillo and Tony Trabert.
You wonder how a guy can make a shot like this. So watch his racket preparation on the dead run. Racket's now back. And with a little flick of the wrist to get the racket out in front of the ball, he gets it back cross court. If he doesn't have that racket ready, he's got no hope.
What a time to hit only his 7th backcourt winner of the day.
This is when it's tough to have to stay on that baseline and make all the passing shots. The pressure's on. I will be surprised if Sanches doesn't serve and volley here to keep McEnroe away from the net. You know, extra pressure on Sanches now because McEnroe's only lost 1 point on his serve in this set.
A little bit more extra pressure now. Above 30. McEnroe will look at his second serve.
Missed it.
15-30.
Again, I'd like to advise our stations along the line that we're going to stay with this match until its conclusion, even if it goes past the top of the hour, 6 o'clock Eastern time. $15.30.
$15.40.
Here's another look. McEnroe gets it racket out in front. Good deep shot that time, and that volley was pretty easy for him, though he made a good one. He got that approach real deep, so it's 2 break points now for McEnroe.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Give him a vital break in his 5th set. Second serve now, so again McEnroe probably trying to get in. break for McEnroe.
McEnroe leads 4 games to 2.
McEnroe trying to get in. And he finally gets in, puts the pressure on, and forces a netted backhand. And watch John.
Quiet, please.
Tatum McEnroe.
Ready for play. Quiet, please.
She's never seen him win a Grand Slam title. Jennifer Capriati is watching on.
Isn't she amazing? She just takes it all in. She just loves it. Everything is neat. I liked her comment. She said, I was in awe when they came out in the stadium. It's so big and all those people. And she said, it's our tournament. I'm an American.
Tennis tomorrow, beginning at 12:30 here on CBS.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be quiet during the round.
The U.S. Open of 1990. We start with Boris Becker against Cahill, and then Jennifer Capriati against Steffi Graf. And after that, Agassi and Berger. That'll be 12:30 to 6. That's what we were supposed to be today.
McEnroe finding a little bit of extra here at the end. Good action on the serve. Some spring left in the legs. A crisp overhead.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
It's 1984 again. He's dug into the files.
You know, the champions somehow can reach back and find a little bit extra. Even when it's not there, you don't think it's there, they can reach back and get a little something special. A little extra fuel.
Serving at 30 love.
Didn't Jimmy Connors do that in 1982 after everyone had written him off? Everyone thought it was bored. And then McEnroe, who would own it, you know, his days were behind him. He came around, won the U.S. Open that year and Wimbledon.
And, you know, we were talking earlier, we thought John was leg weary, and Pat, you asked about second wind. And here is a guy that's found some second wind. We mentioned that in the first round, McEnroe beat Javier Sanches, Emilio's brother. If he does win this, he'll be the first guy to defeat brothers in the U.S. Open since 1979, when Jimmy Connors defeated Anand Amritraj in the first round and brother Vijay in the second round.
In the final. John McEnroe up 5-2 in the final set. Sanchez will serve.
Sanchez got to keep first things first. You got to worry about holding serve and then try to figure out how to break McEnroe. And that could be a tough task now because McEnroe's only lost 2 points on serve in this set. So he's serving well, and Sanchez is not returning as well.
Love 15.
Another look, you see McEnroe forcing the issue. The attempted lob off a very short volley is short. An absolute sitter for McEnroe. No problem putting that one away.
15 all. Wait, please.
This place is packed. McEnroe saw that there are a bunch of people trying to sit in the aisles of this place. There are no seats left, but people still continue to come in.
$30-15. Please hold your positions.
Still a lot of court being covered by both players.
40-15.
It looked as though Sanches was out at this point right here. McEnroe down the line.
Quiet, please.
Sanches not only got there, but was able to get it back cross court. So that was the first thing he had to worry about. That's hold serve.
McEnroe leads 5 games to 3. Quiet, please.
They'll all remember this match.
I'll say.
Dusted off his game, McEnroe. Brought him back something he used to always bring out on the court.
Quiet, please. Love 15.
Sanches able to get around to hit a forehand. Shouldn't be able to do that on a lefty. Puts him in trouble right there. And though McEnroe was there, he couldn't time it.
He was still sort of off balance, wasn't he?
And the guy's so close, he takes a big swing at the ball and doesn't necessarily hit it that hard all the time. Can't tell how fast it's coming.
Love 15. McEnroe and Sanches in the stadium, which is still full. USTA's National Tennis Center, 4th round match. We're in the 5th and final set, with McEnroe serving to win it.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
15 all. $30-15.
99 miles an hour on that one.
But $40-15.
4 hours and 19 minutes, and McEnroe's at match point.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Thank you.
Though that when hit the net, it was going 104.
Quiet, please.
Finding a little bit extra.
Playing from memory.
McEnroe in 5 sets as he advances.
Back at the National Tennis Center where John McEnroe has just moved to the quarterfinals. John, a 5-setter, what did you dig down and find in order to be able to beat him?
Well, I'm not sure. You know, I'd take a little analyzing a little later on this evening, but it felt good to, I felt like I played a strong match throughout. It was a great match, really close match. It could have gone either way, but it's great to come back from that deficit.
You had a standing ovation from 20,000 people. What's the effect of the crowd?
Oh, that feels amazing. I mean, there's nothing comparable to that, and I was brought up so close to here, so this is the most meaningful championship for me, and to be back in the quarterfinals and have another chance is just unbelievable.
Well, you've turned back the clock for us. Thanks, John. Back to you, Tim.